What's up, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back for another Game of Thrones Season 7 trailer breakdown video. The Game of Thrones community is electric right now after the second trailer for the 7th season has dropped, and I must say, this new trailer is absolutely incredible. There is so much more taking place in this one, so let's get right into this. I will be referencing spoilers in this video, so proceed with caution because I will not be holding back anything this time. The trailer opens up with the scene of Sansa out in the Godswood of Winterfell. She is walking away from the weirwood tree, and as this is happening, we can hear a line of dialogue from Littlefinger. Littlefinger says, "Don't fight the North or the South. Fight every battle, everywhere, always, in your mind." Once again, we aren't exactly sure who he is saying this to. This could be Littlefinger and Jon having a conversation down in the crypts, or this could be Sansa and Littlefinger having a conversation after Jon leaves Winterfell. But whatever it is, Littlefinger is up to no good once again, and this will be the last season we see Littlefinger, and Sansa will play a big role in his inevitable death. Next we see the gate opening up at the wall, and it quickly cuts to two people on the other side of this gate. You can clearly see that this is Bran and Meera gaining access through the wall, and most likely at Castle Black. But the way they edited this, I think they want us to think that this is the same gate Bran and Meera are coming through. But I still think this gate with the spikes on it at the bottom will be the gate at Eastwatch by the Sea. Because the gate at Castle Black does not have spikes on the bottom of it, like the one we see in this trailer. But either way, it's very exciting to finally see Bran in the trailer, and boy oh boy did they deliver with some Bran scenes this time. But we're going to get into those in a minute. We then cut to another scene north of the wall, but this time it's Jon Snow and his companions. And this is most likely going to be the mission they go on to capture a White, in order to get it south to prove to all the other lords of Westeros that the threat beyond the wall is real. Next we cut to a scene in King's Landing where we see a mob of people cheering as some men of the City Watch escort someone through this crowd. And I think this is when Euron Greyjoy arrives in King's Landing to meet with Cersei Lannister to discuss terms of making an alliance with each other. They both need allies right now, and they both have a psychotic personality, so this should be a very interesting relationship between these two characters. And speaking of Cersei Lannister, we see her next in the trailer, and it appears that she is in a very dark-looking room, most likely some sort of dungeon or cell at King's Landing. I think this is going to be where Cersei keeps her new prisoners. Euron will be arriving in King's Landing with 3 prisoners, which he will give to Cersei as a gift. After Euron attacks Daenerys' fleet, he's going to take Yara, Ellaria, and Tyene Sand as prisoner. And once Cersei and the Mountain get their hands on them, this is not going to end well. And by the looks of this room, it appears that it's going to end badly for these ladies next season. Next we see Daenerys in her war room at Dragonstone, running her fingers across the table map of Westeros, most likely thinking about her next move or attack in Westeros. The scene quickly cuts to a small boat arriving on the beach, and this will most likely be Theon arriving at Dragonstone after he narrowly escaped a vicious attack at sea led by Euron Greyjoy. Unfortunately for Theon, he was not able to save his sister, but hopefully him and Daenerys devise a plan to get her back. We then see Arya arriving somewhere on a horse, and we have seen a photo from this scene months ago, and in my opinion I think this may be Arya arriving at Winterfell, and she's looking at her home for the first time in a very long time. And it's going to be very exciting having Arya Stark back in Winterfell next season with her family. Next we see Jaime Lannister walking around a castle, and if you look closely you can see a dead body laying there on the ground. This will most likely be at Highgarden, after Jaime and his Lannister forces take over the castle. Next season, Jaime and Bronn will march the troops down to Highgarden and storm the castle. Most likely it's going to result in Lady Olenna's death. We've seen photos from this set for months now, and you can clearly see the Lannister flag flying high above the castle now. And once again, we see creepy-ass Littlefinger sneaking and spying around Winterfell, and I think this may be Littlefinger spying on Jon Snow while he is down in the crypts, paying his respects to his family right before he leaves to head south. In the last trailer, we saw a confrontation between Littlefinger and Jon down in the crypts, and seeing him sneaking around like this must be why. He's going to say something out of line to Jon that causes him to grab him by the throat and slam him against the wall, and I can't wait to see this slimy little prick get what's coming to him. Next we see Daenerys Targaryen walking along the beach of Dragonstone, and while she is walking we can hear Jon Snow, and he says, "For centuries our families fought together against their common enemy, despite their differences. We need to do the same if we're going to survive, because the enemy is real. And it's interesting to hear Jon say this as we see Daenerys, because we all know that the Starks and the Targaryens had beef because of Lyanna, but now we can expect to see a Stark and Targaryen alliance to fight the real enemy, the White Walkers, which is what Jon Snow is talking about. This will probably be Jon talking to everyone at Winterfell when he has all the other lords together in the hall, which we've seen photos from this scene as well. Jon will need to rally everyone together in order to stand a chance against what's coming. As Jon is talking, we also see Daenerys rip down Stannis' old banner that was hanging in Dragonstone. Daenerys Targaryen has arrived, ladies and gentlemen, and her dragons are getting very excited. We can see them flying around the island in the next shot, making themselves right at home. And I can't wait to see the look on Cersei's face when she sees just how big these dragons are. This should be a lot of fun. We then see another shot of Theon Greyjoy, and it's nighttime in this scene as well. And you can see hot embers flying around as this massive naval attack is taking place. Euron Greyjoy will strike Daenerys' fleet, and he's going to take out Yara Greyjoy's fleet and the Sand Snakes' Martell fleet. This is when Euron will be taking some prisoners with him to King's Landing. Next we see Grey Worm on a boat, and he does look badass. He kind of reminds me of Shredder from the Ninja Turtles. And I think this is at Casterly Rock or Lannisport. I think Grey Worm is looking for an access point to gain entry into the Lannister castle in order to take it over. It looks like he may have found a secret passageway to get inside the castle without anyone knowing they are even there. The Lannisters' ancestral home is about to get ran right through by the Unsullied. We then see Brienne and Podrick arrive at Winterfell. Then we see the Hound up north in the snow, and it looks like he's in a fight. The Hound will be with Jon Snow and several other big characters on this mission north of the Wall. We're going to see more scenes from this later. Then we get two quick cuts of this massive battle that's taking place next season, which has been dubbed the Field of Fire 2.0. The Lannister forces will be met head-on in the open field against the Dothraki and at least one of Daenerys' dragons. This is going to be an absolute bloodbath, which will cripple the Lannister army. We get another quick cut of the battle taking place on the sea. And in this scene, you can see Yara trying to make an escape as Euron and his crew rip right through her fleet. We are finally going to see Euron Greyjoy used properly. And by the looks of the few clips we've seen from this battle, I don't think it's going to disappoint. Yara Greyjoy can practice her parkour all she wants, but it's not going to be enough to escape the wrath of Euron Greyjoy. Now this next scene looks absolutely incredible. Bran Stark is finally harnessing his powers, and it's going to be amazing to see this put to the screen. You can see dozens of crows flying above what looks like the Night King's army. In my opinion, I think those are thousands of whites right down below those crows, and this is definitely taking place up north. Bran might even be watching Jon Snow and his companions get attacked during this white capture mission, or this could also just be another vision of his. But I'm going to make a separate video about this scene, so I don't want to get into too many details right now. But we also see the Night King snap his head up and look at something. And this could be him looking at all the crows flying above, or this could also be when Daenerys shows up on her dragon. But whatever it is, it definitely has the Night King's full attention. Because when Jon Snow goes north to capture this white, him and his team are going to get surrounded by the White Army. And if all the leaks are true, then that means Daenerys and her dragons are going to show up. So this could be the Night King seeing Daenerys and her dragons. This is going to be fucking insane. My hype level is through the roof right now. Seeing the Night King and his army in the same scene with the dragons is going to be awesome. I'm very excited for the season now. We also see Bran in a wheelchair out at the Weirwood Tree, and it appears that there is a new maester there now. It's hard to say exactly what Bran is going to be seeing out here. As of right now, the possibilities are endless. He may be watching Jon get attacked north of the Wall, but whatever it is, it's going to be something epic. This does look like the same Weirwood Tree at Winterfell, so hopefully Bran does make it safely back home, so we can get this Stark reunion that we've all been waiting for. Next we see Beric Dondarrion looking like an absolute badass north of the Wall. And once again, Beric ignites his sword into a flame, as he is about to fight the Night King's army. And I don't know about you guys, but I can't wait to see this mission next season. This is going to be insane. I've told you in my death predictions video that I think Beric Dondarrion will die on this mission, but hopefully he's able to kick some serious ass beforehand. I'm a big fan of Beric, so I'm going to hate to see him go. But I think in order to raise the stakes, they're going to most likely kill off some characters during this attack. Now we see Euron and his new Greyjoy fleet arriving at King's Landing. And like I've said many times before, Euron's going to arrive in King's Landing with his prisoners, and he's going to greet with Cersei and Jaime to forge a new alliance. This should make for a very toxic relationship, but I'm really looking forward to it. We then see Daenerys one more time on Dragonstone overlooking the water, and she turns her head to look at someone. I think this is going to be the scene with her and Jon Snow. Jon Snow is going to tell Daenerys how important it is for her to help him fight the others. He's going to need to express the urgency of the situation at hand. And this next scene looks cool as hell. Jaime Lannister is charging on his horse at full speed across a battlefield that is on fire with bodies scattered everywhere. The Lannisters will lose this battle, but not without Jaime putting up one hell of a fight. And it is nice to see him in some action finally. But we then go back to the north where Tormund is kicking some White Walker ass. This mission north of the Wall will end up being one of the greatest scenes of all time. Whether you like the reasoning behind this or not, this will be an incredible thing to watch. All these main characters together fighting the Night King and his army, what's not to like? Buckle your seatbelt, my friends. But then the scene cuts back to the field of fire while the dragon is flying right above the Dothraki army charging full speed ahead. We are finally going to see the Dothraki army fight in the open field, something Robert Baratheon was very afraid of. This is going to be a bloodbath. We then go back to the battle at sea, with the scene of Theon and Yara looking up at the sky as it lights up. This is going to be when Euron attacks their fleet, and you already know how this is going to end. Yara and Theon are about to take a big L right here. Next we see Jon Snow and his men standing on a cliff as thousands of whites climb up it and surround them. You can see Beric Dondarrion's flaming sword right behind Jon, as Jon watches the swarm of whites quickly approach him. This is going to get very tense, very quick. And once again, we get another quick love scene between Missandei and Grey Worm, and they're going to make us like this relationship. Then Grey Worm's probably going to end up being killed, just to make this more emotional, because they're going to have us thinking there is true love for once, but we know how this is going to end too. One of them will die. Now this next clip has me very excited, and it's hard to see this man's face with the sunlight behind him, but that is the Hound, ladies and gentlemen, and if you look behind him, you can see that he is standing in the dragon pit. And guess who else is going to be at this dragon pit? The motherfucking Mountain. Clegane Bowl is back on the table. This is where Jon Snow is going to bring the captured White to show to everyone that the threat is real. And this scene at the Dragon Pit was reported to have upwards of 20 main characters. And I told you all months ago, if the Mountain and the Hound are here at the same time, there is no way they don't confront each other. I'm not saying we're going to get Clegane Bowl for sure, but it's still very possible. And we get another amazing scene with what appears to be Jon Snow going toe-to-toe with another White Walker. It looks like this man does have a man bun, so I think it's Jon Snow, and he's about to kick this White Walker's ass. And I'm telling you, this scene north of the Wall is going to knock your socks off. I'm so excited to see this go down. I hope they kill several White Walkers. I hope we see ice spiders, polar bears, dragons, and the whole nine. Fuck it, let's go balls to the wall. Next is Theon arriving at Dragonstone after his uncle Euron just kicked his ass out at sea. We see Euron Greyjoy in the next clip, and he's finally reaching his potential and showing us just how crazy he actually is. This is going to be so much fun. I think Season 7 is going to be action-packed from the start to the finish. This could end up being the greatest season ever. I mean, who knows? But I know I'm excited as hell after watching this trailer. I hope we get to see the Euron Greyjoy that we saw in the Forsaken chapter. If we can get even just a piece of him, it's going to be awesome. We then see Daenerys on her dragon, and it looks huge. And that does appear to be Dragonstone, because you can look at the castle behind her, and it does have the same shape of that castle. So I'm not too sure what she could be doing on Dragonstone with her dragon right here. She does look to be intimidating someone with her dragon, and it does look terrifying. Drogon is massive this season, and I feel bad for whoever has to fight against Daenerys this season. And this next part's pretty interesting. We then get a line of dialogue from Sansa, and she says, "When the snow falls and the white winds blow, the lone wolf dies, but the pack survives." She could be saying this to Arya when Arya shows up in Winterfell, but she could also be saying this to Littlefinger right as her and Arya are about to kill his ass. Sansa is about to get much darker this season. She's put up with enough shit from Littlefinger, and that would be a great thing to say to him as her and Arya are standing over him about to cut his ass down. But as Sansa is saying this, we can see someone up north riding off on a horse. And we also see Jon Snow cut down one more white before he is fully surrounded by them. I think this is going to be when Uncle Benjen shows up to save Jon, and I think this is Jon riding off on Benjen's horse after he saves him from being surrounded by the whites. the horse that this person's riding off on is black, just like Benjen's, and this is obviously way up north, just by the looks of all the snow on the ground. But it's going to be sad as hell, people, I'm telling you. John's finally going to see his Uncle Benjen again after all these years of wondering what happened to him after he left to go ranging beyond the wall. And it's going to suck to see Benjen die, especially if John has to witness this as he rides off to safety. But it wouldn't be Game of Thrones without scenes like that. This trailer was absolutely crazy and definitely more exciting and action-packed than the first one. There is so much to analyze here, which I'm going to make more videos soon, and I'm going to dig deeper into a few of these scenes. So comment below and tell me what you think. How excited are you now? I know my hype level is through the roof. Let me know your thoughts on everything. I want to see what all of you have to say about this epic trailer. Thanks for stopping by and watching the video. I appreciate all of you that show up to support me in the videos, especially everyone on Patreon. I love all of you, and I'll see you down below. Bye.